with your live Pinpoint Doppler 12 Futurecast.
Well, after looking at some new information, I have adjusted the snowfall accumulation forecast as far as the distribution of the highest amounts of snow. I mean, still snow on the way and enough to shovel and plow, though it's quiet right now. The clouds are rolling in, but locally on live Pinpoint Doppler 12 radar, we're not finding any precipitation. There goes one of actually 4 radar beams scanning the skies. Closest snow is actually outside of New York City, so it'll take a better part of the overnight for at least the first flakes of snow to arrive. So here's the timetable. Snow beginning between 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning, but initially very light, doesn't look like much, but it doesn't take long for it to really start to pick up. So from roughly 11 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, periods of heavy snow. Wouldn't surprise me if at times comes down at the rate of 1 inch per hour. Now, the initial thinking of perhaps some sleet and rain mixing in for a short time along the South Shore, new information suggesting that the South Shore will be cold enough for an all-snow situation. A windy storm, talking about gusts over 40 miles per hour, so it's the kind of snow that blows sideways. A heavy and wet snow, so some of it sticking to tree limbs and power lines. You throw in some gusty wind, then maybe some isolated power outages. So the storm impacts, obviously the snow is a high one. Not concerned about ice or freezing rain. Wind will be a significant impact, especially near the ocean, the Cape and the islands. And with a slightly colder weather scenario, not really dealing much in the way of rain, basically an all-snow situation. So poor travel, obviously, especially from roughly late morning through the afternoon and evening hours, at times near whiteout conditions. And again, I don't think it's anything widespread, but certainly isolated power outages are possible with some of that blowing and drifting of the snow. The winter storm warning for the areas shaded in pink from 8 o'clock in the morning until 1 a.m. Thursday. Very strong winds, especially out across the Cape and the islands. This orange area represents a high wind warning, gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour. Outside of that, looking at gusts anywhere between 30 in the Providence metro area to as much as 50 miles per hour along the Rhode Island coastline. Outside right now, cloudy, dry, and cool, sort of the calm before the storm now. Temperature at 31. Most locations right now are in the upper 20s to low 30s, westerly 31, and Smithfield checking in at 28 degrees. You see the leading edge of the precipitation off to our south and west. Initially, the air is dry, so it'll take a while for this to work in, but certainly by around daybreak, we start with some flurries, then becoming steadier and heavier. It's right here in the bottom of your TV set where a secondary storm system is intensifying and developing, and that'll track north and east and then eventually scoot out to sea later tomorrow night. So late tonight, cloudy skies. By 5 o'clock in the morning, we get some flurries. 6 a.m., light snow showers, but notice as we get deeper into the morning, it becomes steadier to eventually heavier by 11 o'clock in the morning, and then whoop, it's really coming down tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening with temperatures in the middle 30s. Here it is, city by city and town by town for your Wednesday afternoon with a wind-swept heavy snow. And again, the potential for mixing at the coastline probably won't happen now because we're seeing a slightly colder weather scenario. Temps in the low 30s in our northern suburbs, very windy across the Cape and the islands, 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts with temperatures between 32 and 34. 2 accumulation forecasts. Let me show you the one we were originally going with during our 5 o'clock newscast, 10 to 15, 8 to 10. We have now shifted everything further to the south with a slightly colder weather scenario, let's say from roughly Warwick south, and especially the South Shore, on the order of 10 to 15 inches of snow. For, let's say, north of Warwick, Providence metro area, 7 to 10, and not as much along and north of the Mass Pike. And the reason why we did this, we're seeing a slight shift in the storm track further to the south. Want to watch this closely because if the storm decides to track even further to the south, this whole 10 to 15 goes out to sea and it gets replaced with 7 to 10. But this is the snapshot that we're going with, and these numbers won't be realized until actually tomorrow night. 7-day outlook shows, well, better weather by Thursday morning. A good day to dig out. Sunshine 34. Looks good for Friday. Valentine's weekend, sunshine, brisk and chilly and dry with high temperatures in the middle 30s. So starting light very early in the morning, but by noontime in the evening, commute bad timing, coming down real heavy. And it looks like now the coastline may actually end up with the most snow on this one.
So, you don't have to go out, stay home?
Well, just be careful if you do have to go out, but stay off the roads because the DOT said it's tough to plow cars instead of snow.
Right, right. Coming up next, Eyewitness News, one of LA's best-known landmarks could soon